UIC.
Freedom the people of
Hell yeah.
freedom the people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom the people of want. Freedom the people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom the people of want. Freedom the people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom the people of want. Freedom the people of need. Yeah,
Yeah. Real man a road. Now bow wolf in a tree grand a road. Now bow down to no demon a road. UIC when you see man a road, me say yeah. Real man a road. Now bow wolf in a tree grand a road. Now bow down to no demon a road. UIC when you see man a road. Ready for broke every chain. That when you free up the people, levitate. Jamaica member, you ever
Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of UIC Liberty TV. My name is Joseph Patterson. I'm the president of UIC Jamaica, and I'm very pleased to be here with you today to talk about another very important topic. We're going to talk about inflation, and particularly, we're going to talk about government's role in inflation, and I'm going to uncover for you that the inflation we're now suffering is a scam, and it's a government induced scam. And so I'm going to explain all of that here to you today and also take questions from you. I'm going to share some content with you from others who have done a skillful job of preparing content on the subject. And I'm going to walk you through and explain all the pieces of corruption as it relates to inflation and how that is being used to undermine your personal economy. It's impacting your purchasing power and is causing quite a bit of pain in your pocketbook or in your finances. So, good evening to all of you. Peter White, good to see you on. Thank you for joining us tonight. Cool guy, good evening to you as well. Thank you for the commendation on the interview this morning. You know, to tell you the truth, I wasn't even prepared for it. We were supposed to do that interview the day before, and it didn't work out. So I was not supposed to be available this morning. But when Slow Flow called me, I decided to just pause my activities. In fact, I was just outside feeding the animals, and then I got in and got a call from him and jumped on the live. So thank you, really appreciate that. Um, good evening to you as well, Joe P. Good to see you over there in Spanish Town. Maxine, Garanscher, I think it is. Good to see you as well. Hello. And AV, good evening to you as well. Nof, Nicenes, I think it is. Good evening to you as well. We're going to have a really good discussion tonight. First, an educational piece. You know, the UIC is the education party. So I'm going to spend some time walking you through the difference between money and currency, and then explain to you what causes inflation, the two primary types of inflation, what causes them, the role that government plays in this, and what we can do to change that situation so that we stop having these major shocks to our finances, which are not natural, they're very unnatural, and we can fix them. So I'm going to explain that to you in a little bit. Good evening, JMH. Good to see you on as well. Dennis Hart, welcome. Charmaine King, good evening to you. Sonia Mignot, my good friend, where are you there? Canada still? Good to see you on. Beverly Doman, good to see you on as well. Good night, good evening. Liddy Williams says, class in session. Absolutely. There's going to be another class, and I hope you're going to enjoy the learning and it's going to make a big difference in your life. One of the you hear my noise? One of the big issues they have in life, you see, is that in our so-called public school system, we don't get proper, if any, education on how money really works. And so unfortunately, we don't know how to respond to some of these things. We don't even know how to vote on these matters. So the purpose of the UIC is to really educate and empower us so that we can make good decisions, not just in our personal day-to-day economy, but in our involvement in the system of governance, and particularly at elections. Nuff says, I really, really enjoyed the interview. You never need to be prepared. You did great. Thank you, Nuff. Very kind of you. Thank you so much. I could have done better though, but thank you. Antonio Wallow, good evening to you as well. JMH, yes, interview was wonderful. Thank you. It's soul flow, not slow flow. Thank you, Beverly. All this time I'm calling in slow flow, and it's soul flow. Thank you for that. Really appreciate that. So it was class time for me a while ago. I learned something, even though it should have been obvious from just reading the word. But thank you so much. Nazook, I think it is Nazook Komodi. Blessed to all, the entire UIC family. Yes, thank you. Sonia says, good evening, all positive uniters. That's a term that we get from Baba Tunde. My good friend Baba Tunde, if he's on, Baba Tunde always say positive uniters, because he's referring to the fact that you have some persons who attach themselves to the movement, but they're negative. So he wants to differentiate and say positive uniters. Thank you for that, Sonia. Shavane Johnson says, Mahat Hotep family. All right. Richard Williams, good evening, Mr. Patterson. Looking forward to the information that you will share. Carol Spence is reminding everybody to like, share, subscribe, get all your families and friends on the program. Beverly German, good to see you on. Africa Newbie, good to see you on as well. And it looked like Na J1 Don. He's encouraging everybody to like the live and so on. All right, so let's get down to business now. We're going to get into this topic. I'm going to kick this off by, I'm going to start it off this way, by saying this. To understand inflation, you need to understand what money is versus currency. They're not the same thing. Money and currency are two different things. Money is generally accepted as a medium of exchange. It has to be portable, it has to be durable, it has to be fungible, it has to be easily divisible so you can make change with it. And very importantly, money has to be a reliable store of value, meaning it must retain the value of your work that you put out to get that money. So let me say it again. Money must be a generally accepted medium of exchange that we all use, to trade goods and services. It must be portable, so we can take it from place to place, relatively speaking. It must be durable, so it doesn't fade away very quickly. It must be able to, withstand the heavy usage. It must be fungible, which means $1 in my hand should be the same as $1 in your hand, or so it's always the same anywhere. So it's fungible. It's the same $1, even though it might be another piece of paper or whatever it is. So gold and silver were typical forms of money, one of the best forms in terms of, having all of these features. Relatively portable, durable, fungible. It's the same, one gold coin is the same as another gold coin. It's easily divisible. You're able to make denominations smaller, let's say, a 1 cent gold coin, a 2 cent, a 3 cent, or so on. And it was a reliable store of value, meaning over long periods of time, you can buy the same things with that piece of gold coin, for example. So that's the key definition of money: portable, durable, fungible, easily divisible, and a reliable store of value. Now, what's the difference between money and currency? Well, currency is like money in every way except one. So currency is portable, it's durable, it's divisible, but it is not a good store of economic value. Why? Because currency is based on faith, faith in government, meaning the word they use for that is fiat. So a fiat currency, meaning it has no tangible value. It's based on the faith we have in the government that it will honor that money. So currency is based on a system that is designed to cause it to lose value if you do not constantly put it into circulation. So it's like a current. That's where the word currency comes from. So it has to keep moving. You have to keep the money moving in order for you to keep up with the loss in value of that money. And I'm going to explain to you what causes that loss of money. What is it that is causing you to lose value over time and relatively quickly compared to true money? True money holds its value for a very long time and practically never depreciates, except for some major disruption caused by, natural causes, which I'll explain later on. So currency is not money. It is a fake representation of money because it lacks a key component, which is to be a store of value. If your money stored value, it would mean that you would not be experiencing inflation, at least one type of inflation. There are two types. I'm going to explain them. So money normally doesn't experience one type of inflation, which is the one you're experiencing now. If we had real money, you would not have the inflation you're having now. You would not be seeing the massive change in prices you're having now, because real money retains its value, while currency, on the other hand, loses value quickly, and that loss in value is based on something I'm going to explain. It's based on the monetary system that underpins it. Okay? The reason we must constantly invest currency is because of what I call artificial inflation. And artificial inflation is created by a system called central banking. I'm going to explain both of these more. So again, the reason why you have to constantly be investing currency, you can't put it down. If you put it down, it's going to lose its value. So you have to be constantly circulating that money to try to keep up with the pressure that the system is putting on it to cause it to lose value. And if you don't keep up with the investment side, you lose value to the point where the money is worthless. So for example, if you had $100 10 years ago, and that $100 could buy you some things, whatever that is, something meaningful. 10 years later, the $100 can't buy that thing anymore because the currency keeps losing its value. If it was real money, it would have retained its value. I'm going to explain why. Now, remember I said a while ago that the reason why you have to constantly invest currency for it to keep its value is because of artificial inflation. Remember that phrase, artificial inflation. And because of central banking, those two things. Central banking is where the global elites get the government to validate or legalize their reps as a central authority over the nation's money supply. Yeah. So what we have is there's a bunch of people who you don't know, you don't see them generally. They're not coming on TV daily and talking. They're behind the scenes. They're the global elites. There are some very, very powerful, rich people, and they own the banking system that is called central banking. But they don't own it in a way that is very clear and transparent to the rest of the world. They're behind the scenes. So we're going to call them the global elites. They manipulate governments and get the government to validate them, or rather their representatives, through legislation, so that the representatives seem legitimate to you and me, and they call them the central bank and give them the authority over the nation's money supply. This is critical. Once you give this powerful group, which is representing the global elites, control of your monetary supply, they decide, monetary policy, they decide the money supply, they decide interest rate, and they impact exchange rates. So they are behind the scenes pulling the strings, determining how much money is in the market, what the interest rates are going to be at which you can do business in the markets, and they're going to control the exchange rates between countries. Now, if you think about it carefully, this is really a form of communism. Central bank, central authority, controlling an element of the economy. And by the way, this is there are two sides to an economy. The actual products, goods and services being traded, and the means of exchange or money that is used for that exchange. So if you have a central authority that is manipulating and managing money supply in the economy and interest rates and exchange rates, what you really have is a form of dictatorship or communism, but they don't call it that. So this communist-like entity gets to centrally plan and manage the nation's money supply, the interest rate, the exchange rate, and they're doing this not on behalf of the people, but on behalf of the global elites or global oligarchs, which are controlling all of this behind the scenes, while they're pretending, the bank is pretending, the so-called central bank is pretending that it is working for the people. Now follow me carefully. The government, your politicians that you elect, sit in parliament or sit in Congress if it's the US, or sit in the legislature, and they legislate, they write laws. And by the way, the laws they're writing are given to them by these global elites. They're not coming up with this on their own, which is why almost every country you go to have the same set of laws. And they're all part of the same central bank. And they're all coordinated. When one piece of domino falls, the entire system comes, right? So the government of Jamaica, for example, legislated in the House of Parliament the establishment of a central bank, this communist-like central authority. It then supposedly passes laws to make that central bank, that authority, independent of itself and independent of the people. Now this is amazing. Here you have an entity called the Bank of Jamaica, right? But it's not the Bank of Jamaica. It is an bank, an independent authority, which the politicians have to take your hands off and their hands off because you're independent. You get to set the nation's monetary policy. You get to decide the nation's money supply. You get to decide the nation's interest. You get to decide how you're going to do it the exchange. But you're independent of the government. And because you're independent of the government, you're also independent of the people of Jamaica. But you're making decisions that affect the livelihoods of the people of Jamaica. So by extension, what we have is a private cartel, a private body having control the national economy and unelected and cannot affect the electoral process, and they make decisions that will determine our economy's performance. In effect, the two parties that you have in Jamaica have legislated and voted to give over the economy to a private arrangement called a central bank and the Bank of Jamaica, which is no longer the Bank of Jamaica, it is the Bank of the Global Banks, who are controlling our economy behind the scenes and manipulating our money supply, our interest rate, and our exchange rate, and therefore causing the inflation we see. But there's more to it. I'll explain to you how it is. So the global banks are working through the central banks of the world, not just Jamaica. So the system they have set up is not just for Jamaica, or for the US, or for Canada, or for England, or for Ghana, or for the Netherlands. It's set up for the entire world. And most countries buy into it. And countries who don't buy, for some consequences, unless they have great leaders who are very smart. Now, working through the central banks that they have established to serve their purposes are now able to manipulate every country and the entire world's economy by creating booms and busts as they see fit, in order to at the expense of the unsuspecting majority. They are the ones creating the booms and the busts. They're the ones who are able to time the markets, create inflation, or create booms from those booms, and then create and leave you mean back in so many ways. For example, the stock market, when they manipulate interest rates and pump new money into the markets, they're on high productivity. They cause the stock market to rise. We call that the pump. Pump it up. And then when it suits them, when they're ready now, they flip the switch and cause it to dump. And the very rich will then, because they're part of this game, they will know when to dump their stocks, while leaving you and me, and leaving the ordinary men and women who don't know what more at the mercy of this economic mess. So we call it market pump and dump. We saw this in 1929 when we had the Great Depression, and we see the 80s where they manipulated markets and then left with people to solve and pay the price. Now, before going further, I want to show you a short that is going to explain some of what I've said. And we're going to come back and I'm going to get into the actual explanation of the two and give you a chance to see more clearly. Let me see here. Let me just get something here. Every time I'm doing a live, they try to mess with the program. So I'm not sure why you can't hear me. I'm being told that the audio quality is very poor, the video quality is very poor as well. This is the topic that we're on. This is the topic you need to understand, and so they're going to make sure that it's very difficult for you to hear what I say. They do this all the time. They locked me off Facebook, so I was shut from that. Let me see here. Sorry. So, can you hear me now? Is it any better? Any better? Can you hear me any better? Is it clear now? Can you hear me now? Wow. Wow. It's so much of your soul in a while ago that, you're missed out on. Yeah. Yeah, man. You're still in the process, eh? You're trying to make sure you have this. Yeah, we're gonna have to change it. This is all tested. We tested to make sure we were okay. But what they can behind the scenes, they can actually reduce bandwidth on Saturday. So they can reduce the bandwidth that they have, the quality is bigger. They can't hear what I'm saying. That's what's going on. Let me check here. All right. So yeah. Any better? If you can hear me better. The connection is very bad. Any better? Ms. Williams, you wow. Not good. That is not not good. Wow. And there I was going on and on and on. All right. We're check, check. Any better? Uh, any better? All right. I guess we're gonna have to do this because you're not about wanting to get, Facebook blocked me today. Specific, I shared a story. They, they were winning, and then immediately I posted, they instantaneously was blocked for 20 hours, and then they came back shortly after 3 days. So we're very serious about tracking and keeping me like this. But what's about it to get I have to fight that. You know, I was talking about and wow, okay. Well, let me check with the IT or they can tell me what's going on. Just check the tech people and see if we can get it going there. Let me take a check here. Any better? Can you hear? Hello, good night. How are you doing? I'm doing a yes. Are you not working? You're off. I am. Okay, okay, okay. What's the number for tech support? 606. Well, it's up, but it's up, but it's very bad, very bad. So I'm, you know, what's the number again? 606 what? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Got it. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. All the best. Yes. Thank you. All right. So it's a bit better now. Okay. Great. 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 Well, where do I pick up from? I'm not sure how much you missed, but let's see if we can start again. So let's do a check again. Can you all hear me now? Seeing and hearing now? Wonderful. Wonderful. All right. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you the video, and then we're going to come back and I'll unpack some more of this for you. All right. So let's take a look at the video now and see what we can learn.
Your true wealth is your time and freedom, a tool for trading your time. It's a container to store your economic energy until you're ready to deploy it. But the whole world has been turned away from real money and has been fooled into using currency. A deceitful imposter that is silently stealing your two most valuable assets, your time and your freedom. Welcome to the rabbit hole.
We are entering a period of financial crisis that is the greatest the world has ever known. The wealth transfer that will take place during this decade is the greatest wealth transfer in history. Wealth is never destroyed, it is merely transferred, and that means that on the opposite side of every crisis is an opportunity. The good news is that all you do to turn this crisis into your great opportunity is to educate yourself. I believe that the best investment in your lifetime is your own education. Education on the history of education, on finance, education, how the global economy works, education on how these central banks, how they, if you learn what and how the financial world works, you yourself on this wealth transfer. Winston Churchill once said that the further you look into the past, the further you can see into the future. It's all about being facing into the future, being able to change this crisis, the greatest crisis of this time, into your great opportunity. The hidden secrets of money, some of them are hidden in plain sight. They're like right in front of you. The way the monetary system works is something that's actually hidden away from us, out in the open. It's complex, and people just don't see how it works. It's hard for them to imagine we're living in such a hoax. Others are meant to be secret, but the slowing up. Federal Reserve being a private corporation, not really part of the U.S. government. What I found was there was no place that I could point to where they could get it all in one. And so I decided to write my book about it. And in century economics, the markets, fundamentals of gold and silver. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors in economics, and I've sort of made it my job to lift the fog for people. This is where it all began. Roughly 5,000 years ago, the Egyptians started using a predominant form of currency, but it was not yet money. The pieces of gold and silver that they were using were odd sizes and weights, odd materials. Silver was not interchangeable, where each unit is the same as the next. This meant that nothing really had a price we are in the financial mess that we are in globally is that people do not understand the difference between currency and money. Currency is a medium of exchange, a unit of account. It's durable, divisible. Something called fungible means that each is the same as the next unit. A dollar in my pocket is the same as a dollar in your pocket. Money is all of those things plus a value over a period of time. Even financial planners, bankers, your accountant, they don't understand the difference between currency and money. Currency in your pocket is a medium of exchange. The unit of account is not. It's portable. It's divisible that you can change, and it's fungible. My pocket buys the same amount as a dollar in your pocket. Because governments print more and more and more of it, and dilute currency supply, continue to transfer your government to the banking system. And that gold and silver are the optimum form of money because of their properties. It's an easy medium of exchange because gold and silver store a large amount of value in a very small area. It's a unit of account gold all over the planet. So an ounce of gold is not here in Egypt as it is in China or in the United States. It's durable. The gold we're using in trade 5,000 years ago is still here with us today. It does not corrode. It's visible. You can
Okay. This is all. We're going to have to stop the live and try again. So let's try again tomorrow. So we'll try again tomorrow. We can get this thing going. We do not have, we do not have good internet at all. So the technology, once again, all the protocol. Yeah. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me, guys? Can you hear me? Hello? Mic check, mic check. Can you hear me? Still buffering. All right, I'm gonna have to call it. Oh, and retail is yes. No, no, being. We'll try again tomorrow. Not working very well, so tomorrow we'll try. I'll go repeat this tomorrow and see if we can get this going. All right. Thank you all very much for your patience, and see you tomorrow. Come on. Let's see.